So let's talk about one of the biggest hurdles in learning a new language. How do you get truly fluent if you can't just pack up and move to another country? Well, today we're going to dig into a completely different way of thinking about this, a method that might just change everything for you.
Does this sound familiar? I bet it does. For so many of us, this is exactly where we get stuck. You have the desire, you really want to learn, but life just gets in the way. You're busy, you're stretched for time, and honestly, it can be pretty nerve-wracking to even try speaking. This feeling is totally normal, but it's not the end of the road, not even close.
For years, there's been this one big idea, this myth, that the only real way to master a language is through total immersion. You have to go live in London or Sydney or Toronto to have any chance of fluency. But what if that's just not true? What if that single belief is the very thing holding you back?
Let's just flip this whole idea on its head. The old myth says you have to move, you need to find hours every day to study, and you absolutely must have a native speaker to talk to. But the new reality? It's so much more doable. It's all about creating small daily habits. You don't need hours, you just need 10 to 15 minutes a day. And you don't need a perfect situation, you just need smart, repeatable steps you can take right where you are.
And this right here is the real secret. It's not about magically finding more time in your day. It's about two things: consistency and integration. It's about showing up for a few minutes every single day. And it's about weaving the language into the life you already lead. It becomes a part of you, not just another task on your to-do list. This is the philosophy we need to embrace. Seriously, it's the tiny things you do consistently, like listening to one song or thinking one sentence in English, that build on each other. Over time, these small actions compound into something huge, real, natural fluency.
So, how do we actually do this? What does it look like in practice? Well, let's get into your toolkit for fluency. We're going to break down 5 simple but incredibly powerful daily habits.
Okay, here they are. 1. Listen every day. 2. Shadow what you hear. 3. Think in the language. 4. Read aloud. And 5. Use it in daily life. Each of these hits a different, crucial skill. And when you put them all together, you've got a complete system. Let's dive into each one. First up, and this one is maybe the most important, listen every single day. Now, I'm not talking about sitting down with a textbook. Nope. I'm talking about making English the soundtrack to your life. Play an English podcast while you're making dinner, listen to English music on your commute. The goal isn't to understand every single word. Even if you only catch 30%, you're training your brain to recognize the rhythm, the flow, and the sounds of the language. Now, for habit number 2, and trust me, this one is a total game changer. It's called shadowing. It's a really cool technique where you listen to someone speaking and you repeat what they say almost at the same time. You're not waiting, you're not translating, you're just echoing them. You're basically rewiring your brain and your mouth to work together in a new way. This is the perfect way to think about it. You are an echo. Don't stress about the meaning of every word. Just focus on copying the sounds, the melody, the intonation of their voice. It's going to feel a little weird at first, for sure, but it is one of the fastest ways to improve your pronunciation and sound more natural. Okay, habit number 3 is all about what's going on inside your head. See, most of us learn by thinking in our native language and then translating, right? But that process is slow and awkward. The goal is to break that habit and start forming thoughts directly in English. And you can start really, really small. For instance, picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning. Instead of your usual internal monologue, you just think this to yourself. It's so simple, right? But what you're doing is building a new neural pathway. You're creating a direct connection to English, cutting out the slow, clunky translation step. And you can do this all day long. As you're walking outside, just quietly narrate what you see. The sky is blue. The air is cold. It might seem like nothing, but these tiny thoughts, repeated day after day, build a rock-solid habit of thinking in English. And our 4th habit, reading aloud. I love this analogy because it's so true. When you speak a new language, you're literally using muscles in your mouth, tongue, and jaw in new ways. So reading aloud, even for just 5 minutes a day, is like a workout for those muscles. It builds strength, improves pronunciation, and boosts your speaking confidence. So you see, all of these habits, listening, shadowing, thinking, reading aloud, they all point to this one big idea. You have to stop studying the language and start living with it. It needs to become part of the fabric of your world. What this really means is looking at your everyday routine and finding small moments you can transform into language practice. It's about turning those boring, automatic actions into opportunities to learn.
And it's easier than you think. Change the language on your phone. You'll learn tons of useful words just through repetition. Try writing just 3 sentences in a diary each night about your day, or record a 1-minute voice memo to yourself in English. Nobody ever has to hear it. These little tweaks integrate the language into your actual real life.
So when you put this all together, what do you get? You get a new reality. A reality where fluency isn't determined by your passport or your address, but by the small, intentional choices you make every single day. And this is the most important thing to remember. Real, lasting fluency happens at that magic moment when English stops feeling like a chore, like homework you have to do, and starts feeling like just another part of your life. It's on your phone, it's in your thoughts, it's the music you listen to, and that is where the breakthrough happens. Think about it like this. Fluency is a wall built of thousands of tiny bricks. You don't have to build the whole thing at once. So the only question that matters is, what's the one small brick you're going to lay today? Are you going to listen to a song? Maybe change your phone's language setting? Just pick one. That's where your journey really begins.